late 2015. And the time they wanted me to go out to California to film, I was just starting my master's program. I always say a goal without a plan is just a dream.
Hi, this is Robert Wilkins, aka Basketball Talk. Welcome to my channel. I'm glad that you're here with me today because I have someone that's going to make your day. Let me ask you this. Are you happy? Are you where you thought you would be in life? Do you think the game's over? There's no hope for me? Mom, dad, grandparents, I encourage you, get the kids out. They need to hear from this guest. And her name is Audrey Rose Price, and is someone who I've known since she was about 12 years old. Welcome, Audrey.
Hello, hello. Still acting like the 12-year-old, happy-go-lucky.
Yeah, but you're more than that now. You're in your mid-20s and doing extremely well. Let me tell you a little bit about Audrey. Audrey is a 3-time state champion in the state of Oklahoma in Class 4A in track and field and the long jump. 3 years in a row, she won state in 4A. Congratulations. What a feat that was, Audrey.
Thank you.
Also, she attended Medill High School and she graduated with a 3.9 GPA. She went on from there. She had a scholarship at University of Central Oklahoma in Edmond, Oklahoma, in the Oklahoma City metropolitan area. And she graduated with a bachelor's in kinesiology, exercise science. But she didn't stop there. As the champion that she is, she went on and then, of course, got her master's degree in exercise science. Audrey, I'm proud of you. You know that. For my audience out there, something that I want to make them aware of is that I first came across Audrey when she was 12 years old, in which I was a coach with the USA Track and Field with the Ardmore Track Club, later became Southern Oklahoma Track Club. And Audrey was a long jumper, as you know, coming up before she became state champion. And she was part of the track club. And she did exceedingly well. And when I first saw her coming down that runway, and I was a high jump, long jump, and triple jump coach. And when I saw her hit that board and propelled herself so high in the air, I was like, wow, this girl's got some hops. And what I discovered later on as time went on, the power that you exude naturally. Audrey, tell us, what are you doing today?
So now I'm out of college. Now this has been 2017. I was finished my master's degree. Currently I'm at Oklahoma Athletic Center. It's a very big, used to be the Lighthouse. It's the metropolitan area gym. So it's about, I don't know the exact square footage, but just the fitness area alone is about 15 to 18,000 square feet. We have 4 basketball courts, 6 volleyball courts, 2 pools, indoor and outdoor. So it's just a big kind of, catch-all kind of facility. We try to, and I'm the fitness manager there currently over all the stuff. So I do all the scheduling. I do sport performance training myself, making sure, the day-to-day activities are going on and going well. So it's a lot of responsibility, but it's been exactly what I wanted because, that was the whole point of getting a master's degree, to be in these higher up positions. So, and, like you said, I like to have power and, try to be, like to have that leadership role as much as I can. That way I can say and hopefully, impact people's lives.
And power that you do have.
Yes.
And just to let everyone know that she squats 280 pounds. Not just that, bench press 155 pounds and deadlift 315 pounds.
Yes.
And if you look at her body, it doesn't show it.
Yes, I'm not some bulky, muscled up person. I got some muscles, but, still got the feminine side. And that's what has been kind of my driving force is I want to empower women, to think like, oh, you're not going to look like a man to be strong in a lot of ways. And that's physically, mentally, everything. So through my lifting, that just empowers me, and hopefully, empowers and inspires other people to do the same.
Do you have any other goals in mind?
Lots of them. It's just, for me, it's been like trying to streamline and actually plan out timelines for them, because my true end all goal long term would be like to live in New Zealand. I looked into their culture and the country itself. I would love to work for their Olympic training sports performance, and I would love to work with the All Blacks rugby team, just because of the looking into their, just the way they train, their mindset and everything. They're kind of like the end all be all of the Olympic sports. I believe the last research I read on them, they had like a 93% winning record. Like, so they had the highest overall winning in the Olympics period.
Really?
And which I didn't know about till I started doing research on them, but they've won overall, their percentage is like 93% winning. It's insane. And just what they instill in their culture from training all the way up, they totally prep these athletes to be the best. And it'd be really cool to be a part of that.
Talking about still having that winning mindset, seeking out the top places to go to be part of an elite team of athletes. Wow, Audrey. Wow. I'm very proud of you. And I'm so happy that our paths crossed. And just to see you as a little girl and to see what you've grown into. And I'm sure you had some obstacles along the way, some challenges. Would you like to share that with my audience?
Oh, yes. So, and I mean, growing up, I always thought I had this, picture perfect, idea of, having both parents in my household and everything. So I didn't feel like, much could happen to me. And then my senior year, my dad passed away from a brain aneurysm. And that for me personally was very tough, because we were so close. And that was just, I remember thinking, well, it was 2 weeks before my senior track season started, he passed. And I was like, how am I going to do this? He was such a big supporter of me, and my life went from here to here in just an instant. And I remember thinking to myself, I don't want to finish track. What's the point? My life is totally different. It'll never be the same. And I remember really thinking hard to myself, like, did I want to pursue this track scholarship? And then I remember talking to Coach Love, my high school coach at the time, really having a hard time figuring out how my mental game would get there, especially for training, because your mind's just not there after something like that. And I remember my dad and I had this thing about, if you saw a penny on the ground somewhere, someone in heaven was thinking of you. And I remember I was just having the hardest day of practice, and on the long jump pit, there was a penny. And I mean, and as a track coach, there's, change will fall out, and you can call it a coincidence, but I really think he was speaking to me there. And I'll never forget that penny, and I still have it to this day. That penny that was sitting there on the long jump pit. And that was kind of like, to me, a message like, hey, you can get through this. He'll always be there with me. And, to pursue that, because I didn't want to continue on training, or, must left going to college at that point. And then ended up being my absolute best season I ever had. I never lost one time in long jump. I broke the school record, and I made history for doing 3 times in a row and winning the meet of champions. So it went from such a horrible situation that I didn't even want to participate to being my absolute best season ever.
Wow. Wow.
So that was huge.
You know what? It is sad when you lose a parent.
Mm-hmm.
And I can only imagine when you're, still a child.
Yeah.
And a token such as a penny that gave you that inspiration because of thinking of your father and what he said about the penny.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Audrey, You did it. You did it.
Yeah.
3 times state champion. And I know that your mom was your biggest fan.
Yes. And
Uh,
still is.
did
To
she
this day,
ever
I
miss
do.
a did she ever miss a track meet?
There was only a couple in college when they were like a couple states away. But other than that, she was always the track mom.
And by the way, I want everyone to know too is that when she was with USA Track and Field, she went to the Junior Olympics every year. So, and competed among the best in the country every year. Audrey, for the youngsters that's out there that have, looking for hope, looking for that someone that inspires them, that aspiration. Can you share some words of wisdom with them, what it takes to succeed in life? Because a lot of times they always think of the national stage about the professional athletes, the big time, singers and musicians and movie stars, and they
Mhm.
fail to see the stars right in our own neighborhoods, such as
Yes.
with you. Any words you would like, or wisdom you'd like to share with them?
For me, I would just say looking for people, like you said, they don't have to be the absolute best, but the most motivation I've got and just inspiration has been those who never quit. They just have that perseverance that continue to go on and on. Like even when the worst or best things happen, it doesn't shake them from their path. And for me, finding a passion, because I see kids nowadays, they just don't really have a passion. And whatever it is, it could be cooking, sports, whatever you're good at, art, because, artistic work, anything that just drives you to be better every day. Find that passion and keep that passion alive. That's like one of my favorite words is having passion, because that's what's kept me alive personally. And I mean, as growing up in Medill is a small town, we weren't in a big city or anything like that. I just had to be my own passionate hero and just, find, yeah, that'll be good right there. I was like, I could keep rambling on, but
But even though you were in a small town, you competed against the elites and even our largest cities, Oklahoma City, Tulsa, Lawton, all of
Mhm.
those. It didn't matter because you were who you were. You were God gifted. You know, and you talked about there's a basic theme that everyone could take from this. You talked about no quitting and so forth. And
Mhm.
all winners, anyone who've achieved anything, not athletes, we're talking about education,
Mhm.
whatever that particular job is, whatever. There's a basic theme of all of it. It reminds me because it deals a lot with our mindset. And I believe it was Napoleon Hill. He said, the mind is like a muscle. It has a real function.
Mhm.
So if we can get control of our mind and look at that dream of no quit, despite what hurdles, what obstacles we have to go through, you can still achieve your dreams.
Yes.
Audrey, I believe you also entered a contest involving the ninjas, involving The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. You had trained or something to try to get to that point. Would you like to elaborate on that?
Sure. Yeah. So I actually worked at a Ninja Warrior gym here in Edmond, Oklahoma. It was kind of a startup up and coming to, kind of go off the series that everybody loves, American Ninja Warrior. So I started doing some competitions that are just a small, kind of like USA Track and Field. They're an organization separate from the TV show. And I won some of my competitions. And then someone came out to me and said, "Hey, you ever thought about actually auditioning for American Ninja Warrior or the Titan Games, which is where The Rock hosts and part of that NBC group?" So I just said, okay, why not? I made a audition video. They had to do some kind of fitness test as well. We did like push-ups and pull-ups for time. We do a plank for time, some jump ropes, some just basic stuff to kind of even get them to look at you if you were qualified fitness-wise to do so. And then I submitted a video. I went through 2 rounds of auditions with the Titan Games. Sadly, my story wasn't apparently as moving as they would have liked to for the first season. But a lot of people had some really, intense things like where they've gotten over cancer or, just some really bad things that, fortunately has not happened to me. So I didn't get to actually compete on the Titan Games, but I did get to go behind the scenes on American Ninja Warrior. And I got to try almost every obstacle, which I promise you is way harder than you look on TV and you're like, I can do that. And I got up there and it was actually quite terrifying. It's the videos just don't do it justice till you're up there 18 feet in the air swinging, hoping you don't fall in the water. So that was a awesome experience. I got to meet people behind the scenes that you see on TV, and at least my name's around there. With this Corona stuff that's going on, I didn't get, this year obviously didn't happen the way it normally did, but that was last spring, and they had it here in Oklahoma City. And I was able to go right down the road and try out the whole course. It was really awesome.
Well, was The Rock there?
He wasn't at that location. So he's at the time he was in the Titan Games season 2 filming. So, but because of that, doors have opened. I also got I don't know if you've heard of the Broken Skull Challenge. That's with Stone Cold Steve Austin.
We know him.
You know who he is. He has one. It's another obstacle kind of course. But once you get in, people start talking, and so maybe one day I'll be on there. But that was actually at a time I had to choose. They wanted me, if you rewind back, the Broken Skull wanted me in 2015, late 2015. And the time they wanted me to go out to California to film, I was just starting my master's program. And I was like, do I choose a degree that's pretty much paid for, or a possibility? I mean, I could win the money and pay for my degree, but I had to choose at that time. So obviously I chose, I better go to school, have a backup plan. And if I, always keep going, I can come back. But because I denied that, I think it put me back in the loop, but you had to do what you got to do. But, it got me connected through Ninja Warrior and the Titan Games.
Well, I can probably hear your mom, Joni, also telling you about your education.
You need to go to school, Audrey. Yes, she was like, well, you can pick fame or an education. Maybe only 15 minutes of fame. So I had to logically think that through and not get excited.
Well, tell me this. Now, you have some other goals as well, don't you?
Yes.
Tell us about that.
So one of my goals, hopefully in the near future, depending on, gotta make sure, I always say a goal without a plan is just a dream.
That's right.
So you gotta have a good plan. That's
right.
My advice. Because if you just have an idea with no real constructive way to get there, it's not gonna happen. So as I'm continuing to figure all this out, I would love to train athletes as well as just general adult fitness in Ardmore. I would, come back to where I grew up, because training up here in Oklahoma City, I just see the difference between the availability of training they have over Southern Oklahoma. Just doesn't have that opportunity.
That is awesome. There's an old saying, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
Yes.
And thank you for sharing that with my audience as well.
Yes, thank you. Because that was one of the things that kept me focused is, I had a million and one things like, I want to do this. But if I didn't have a way to get there, that meant nothing. Then I was just talking. You got to walk the walk and talk the talk.
And thank you for saying that too, because how many people always talk the talk, but they never walk the walk?
You always hear them saying, oh, I'm going to do this one day, or I want to do this, or I'm this, but nothing is there substantial to back it up.
Yes. And that plan keeps you on track.
Yes.
It makes you do.
It does. And it really does, because I remember I found some of my notes early freshman year of college in one of what I thought was kind of a silly class. It was, I can't remember the name. It was one of those UCO prep classes, like teaching freshmen, time management, how to take notes, just basic stuff. And I was like, oh man, I got to take this class, which I thought I already knew how to do. But and Dr. Pope, he's one of my, he was my professor, and he's to this day is still one of my good supporters. He's actually now the vice president over at University of Alabama. So he's doing well. And he was the one that told me, just start writing out these plans. What are your goals? What do you see in 1 year to 5 years? And I pulled out some of my notes that what I wanted to do at 25, and I found that at 26, and I was like, wow, I checked off all these and I totally forgot. But I think the act of writing it down and having a scripted plan to follow kept me on that track, even though I didn't still have that piece of paper.
Did you hear that? She just gave you a roadmap to achieving your dreams, your goals, whatever it may be. You know, you have a lot of great ideas. I remember Eleanor Roosevelt, she had written in a book, said that great minds discuss ideals, average minds discuss events, and small minds discuss people.
Yes.
What mindset are you in? Not you, Audrey Price, but my audience. Audrey, giving you the final word. Anything that you have the final word. Go ahead, please.
Okay. My final word is, keep persevering. Never give up on that. Doesn't matter how insignificant you feel. Just find something and you bring that special light to the world and move on, carrying that light for the rest of your life.
And can I say an amen there?
Yes.
Amen. And by the way, I want everyone to know, I introduced her to the triple jump.
Yes, he did.
And you hold the triple jump record at University of Central Oklahoma.
I do. It was a 20-year record finally broken. It was 22 years old, and I was like, okay, I'm going to get that record.
Congratulations, Audrey. So you left your mark on the sport and on the school.
Yes.
And for all of you, please, if you like what I've just shared with you, and if it was anything of value, please hit the like button and also subscribe to this channel, because you don't know what content, what benefits that you're going to gain from this channel by listening to those such as Audrey Price, because I'm bringing you people of substance, people that are community leaders, people that are stars, heroes right in your own community, people that we can learn from and grow from. Audrey Price, I want to thank you again for being my guest, and I'm so thankful that I know you, and I wish the best for you. And by the way, I truly believe you will achieve your next goal. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. And my guest, thank you.